my Smooners, welcome back to being Mrs. S. Now I'm going to sprinkle some BGM on you. Woo! Okay, so I hope you enjoyed my travel vlog. Now it's time to give you an update on Ozempic. So first let's start by singing, oh, 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 Ozempic, you know. Oh, 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 Ozempic, you know. First, I want to start by thanking all my new Smooners. Welcome to the Smoon universe. And if you are new to my channel, hello to you. Become a part of the Smoon universe by clicking on the subscribe button. When you do, please leave a comment in the comment section below saying that you subscribed. Also, make sure to hit the notification icon to be notified when there's a new video. Cheers! So today's episode is going to be highly informative, so make sure to watch till the very end. I'm going to be talking about how I lost 110 pounds in 11 months, and I am still losing. So, how it all started. I was very skinny growing up through my formative years. I call it my skinny girl era. When I got into university, I started gaining weight. And quite honestly, I was very happy about that. In my late 30s, though, I started gaining more weight than usual. I also noticed small changes in my menstrual cycle. I started experiencing PMS, what I never used to before. By 2013, I got up to 248 pounds, which back then, that was the heaviest I had ever been. It was critical that I got rid of that weight, so I started working out and got down to about 236. When I got down to about 236, at this point, I decided to get on HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin, which insisted on a very restrictive 500 calorie a day diet. And by 2014, I lost over 90 more pounds to get to 146 pounds. In 2018, I started gaining weight again. But my wedding was coming up and I figured I'll lose the 10 pounds easily. Well, I didn't. I lost a little, but it all came back. Fast forward to the pandemic in 2020 when I started this channel, I decided to work on my weight again. I didn't realize how difficult it was going to be. I had somehow gotten back up to 248. I didn't want to take HCG because I've told you guys that mess was hella restrictive. I did somehow get down to 208. Then just as that happened, I got hit with a lot of stress and I gained it all back. By 2022, I had ballooned to close to 300 pounds. Can you believe it? I was having some really serious issues, strange things happening. My menstrual cycle was all over the place. My knees, my back hurting all the time. Bloating was constant. I was just a total mess. Back in 2019, I had heard about semaglutide when it was being touted as a miracle weight loss drug, awaiting FDA approval. And I made a note to research it further. I didn't want to go the pharmaceutical route again, so I tucked it away as an absolute last resort. It was not until 2022 that I took the time to research it seriously, especially after my friend, who's a doctor, mentioned it to me again. Okay, so now check this out. I have a friend who has gained a considerable amount of weight. We were talking the other day, and she said when she told her husband that the weight gain was hormonal, he chimed back that black women always use that as an excuse. I mean, wow. Okay, so because of that, I'm now going to share some of the things I learned about the human body and how it works. Okay? First, let's start with hormones. What are hormones? Hormones are signaling molecules that are sent to organs by complex biological processes to regulate physiology and behavior. They are chemicals that coordinate different functions in our bodies by carrying messages through our blood to our organs, skin, muscles, and other tissues. These signals tell our bodies what to do and when to do it. So when we talk about growth and development, metabolism, sexual function, mood, reproduction, all of those processes are affected, even controlled by our hormones. Hormones are produced by cells called endocrine glands. Action hormones are carried by the blood throughout the entire body, yet they affect only certain cells. So specific hormones talk to specific cells. The specific cells that respond to a given hormone have receptor sites for that hormone. Hormones are very potent substances, which means that very small amounts of a hormone may have very profound effects on metabolic processes. So you can imagine. Now let's talk about metabolism. It is the chemical reactions in our body cells that convert food to energy. Calories in the food and drink we ingest combine with oxygen to create the energy our bodies needs. So moving on to basal metabolic rate, it's the number of calories our bodies at rest require for things like breathing, moving blood around the body, keeping hormone levels where they need to be, brain health, and cell growth and repair, as well as body temperature regulation. My BMR is currently around 1459. Average BMR for women ranges between 1200 to 1600 calories daily. The higher your BMR, the more calorie burn is likely. And I told you guys, 3500 calories make up a pound. So having an idea of what basal metabolic rate is key in the whole weight loss process, and knowing how to plan your meals if you're trying to get to a caloric deficit, if this is your plan of trying to lose weight. So continuing to talk about hormones, there are endocrine glands that produce these hormones. Endocrine glands, or the endocrine system, secrete hormones. There are several different types of glands. So endocrine glands secrete hormones. Pituitary, pineal, thyroid, thymus, adrenal, pancreas, ovaries in women, and testes in men are major glands. The pancreas sits next to the stomach. The pancreas produces hormones, that is insulin and glucagon. These are secreted into the bloodstream. These hormones help to control the levels of glucose, which is sugar, in the body. The pancreas secretes the hormone glucagon in response to a low concentration of glucose in the blood, and the hormone insulin in response to a high concentration of glucose in the blood. Glucagon increases the level of glucose in the blood by increasing the rate of glycogen breakdown in the liver. Insulin controls the amount of sugar in the blood by moving it into the cells where it can be used by the body for energy. So when the body starts doing things that it doesn't normally do, looking to the hormones for an explanation is not far-fetched at all. It is definitely not an excuse. I needed to talk about this because that statement just blew me away. For some reason, the only hormone that people think exists, specifically in women, is estrogen. So let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about how estrogen affects the woman's body. Let's talk about perimenopause and menopause for a hot second. Women start experiencing perimenopause at different ages. Things like menstrual irregularity begin to happen sometime in our 40s, but some of us notice changes, like I did, as early as our mid-30s. Back then, I didn't even know what was going on with me. The level of estrogen in our body rises and falls unevenly and irregularly during perimenopause. Our menstrual cycles may be longer or shorter than normal. Excess estrogen may lead to weight gain, especially around the hips and the waist. I got a lot of it in my boobs. You get heavy or light periods, worse PMS than usual. I never had PMS and I started experiencing PMS. Fatigue, fibroids in the uterus, low sex drive, low mood or anxiety. Low estrogen can cause dry skin, tender boobs, weak brittle bones, trouble concentrating. That used to be a thing for me. Moodiness, irritability, vaginal dryness or atrophy. That's a crazy mess. So Perimenopause is all over the place. You're going up and down, up and down, up and down all the time. And for me, that was what I was experiencing. So when a woman, any woman at all, mentions hormonal issues, it is serious business. Not only does she have to worry about estrogen, there's also other hormones that play a huge role in our well-being. So again, my brother, it is not an excuse. It has nothing to do with being a black woman. All women will experience some form of perimenopause and menopause, some more severe than others. Men and women can experience insulin resistance. So let me sprinkle some sense on your head. Okay, so class dismissed. Okay, no. The fact is, even though chemistry and biology, there are ways we can help ourselves to reverse these overacting and underacting hormones so that we get our life back. For me, I found out that not only am I experiencing severe perimenopausal issues, I was also insulin resistant. Hopefully, no longer. There are some very serious hormonal issues. Very serious. Perimenopause and insulin resistance. Oh Lord, help me. Help me. Okay, so having that information was very key because it made the decision to ask for Ozempic pretty easy. Okay, so what is Ozempic? Ozempic, semaglutide, produced by Novo Nordisk, a Danish company, is a glucagon-like peptide 1 receptor agonist. It is a physiological hormone that has multiple actions on glucose mediated by the GLP-1 receptors. It acts as a GLP-1 receptor agonist that selectively binds to and activates GLP-1 receptor. It stimulates insulin secretion, lowers glucagon secretion, and causes a minor delay in gastric emptying. So you have receptors in your brain that tell you how to function. Ozempic interacts with those receptors so that they do what they're supposed to do. It is a once-a-week injection applied subcutaneously in the belly, thigh, or upper arm. So it must be taken the same day of the week, every week. When you take Ozempic with a reduced calorie diet and increased physical activity, it can be used to manage chronic weight gain in adults with a BMI of 30 or greater, or those with a BMI of 27 or greater with at least one weight-related comorbidity. That is hypertension, type 2 diabetes, whatever. The starting dose of Ozempic is 0.25 mg, then you titrate up to 0.5, then 1, and then 2 mg. So, I don't know if you caught that. When you take Ozempic, when you increase your physical activity, when you manage your food intake with a reduced calorie diet, it works to help you lose weight. It's not a magic drug. I've said that over and over again. I talked about it in my videos. Click on the link to see the full playlist on the series. It's not you give yourself the shot and poof, the weight is gone. You have to eat a lower calorie diet. You need to exercise more. So in November 2022, I started with 0.25 mg dose for a month. At this point, I weighed 256.6 pounds and my BMI was 38.5. My A1C was 6.4, which was considered pre-diabetes. The interaction with the medication was so smooth, I had no side effects. Now, there are many side effects, like possible thyroid tumors, including cancer, pancreatitis, gallbladder problems, hypoglycemia, kidney failure, vision issues. Maybe you could have that. The most common side effects are nausea, diarrhea, constipation, bloating, sometimes headaches, and so on and so forth. Since I had no side effects, I mean zero, not a zilch, after my first month, I moved up to 0.5 and so on. I got to the 2 mg dose, and that's where I stayed. I was determined to be successful in my weight loss goal because, for one, this was that last resort. This This was my last resort. I said I was only going to go into the pharmaceutical bit as a last resort. Also, this medication is very expensive, and my insurance would not cover it. This is also the reason I opted to stay on Ozempic as opposed to Wegovy, because they're essentially the same drug. Wegovy is FDA approved for weight loss. Ozempic is approved for type 2 diabetes. But Wegovy costs $300 more than Ozempic. And Ozempic is already over $1,000. And they are essentially the same drug. Things I did to ensure success: I took my eating habits seriously. I focused more on proteins, lean white fish. I really didn't cut anything out because I didn't want a situation where when I was done, I'd start craving those things I missed. Those things that might spike up my glucose, I just didn't eat a lot of them. I worked out on weekdays for most of the time I was on Ozempic. Scaled back when I started intermittent fasting. So on days where I only drank water or tea, I didn't work out. When I got down under 200 pounds, I started weight training, jump rope, skipping rope, and rowing. I have a full gym in my basement. So today, I stand before you 110 pounds lighter, 90 pounds of which I lost while on Ozempic. My last shot of Ozempic, which is the 2 mg dose, was on September 22nd. So in about a week's time, I would have been off Ozempic for a whole month. Whew. Okay, so I told you it was going to be highly informative. So my current weight is 166. As of this morning, 166.3. So I went from 276.6 to right now I'm 166.3. So I've lost 110.3 pounds in total. 90 of that weight loss I lost while I was on Ozempic. And as I just told you, my last shot was September 22nd. So since then, I have lost, I think, about 10 more pounds. Oh, no. 6 or so more pounds since my last Ozempic shot. And I'm still losing. I think I told you guys that the plan is to get down to a nice little 130 pounds. I was hoping that I was hoping that by August I would have reached there, but I didn't get there in August, and so now I'm hoping that I can get there. I mean, now that the real work begins, because I don't have Ozempic to help with the appetite and with the with the appetite and all that. So I'm relying 100% on my own insulin being able to connect with the receptors it's supposed to be connecting with, as opposed to just backing up in my body and filling up and not doing what it's supposed to do. So so September 22nd was my last shot of Ozempic. In a week's time, I would be a month off of Ozempic. I am still losing weight. I am still managing what I eat, and I'm still working out every weekday, even though I decided that maybe I should incorporate some working out on the weekends, because really on Saturdays and Sundays all we do is just sit down in front of the TV, veg out. Like on the weekends, on the Saturdays when I don't have laundry day, it's no joke, we don't do anything, and I feel like we need to be more active on the weekends as well. So I don't know, maybe I'll do some of those workouts, the Apple yoga stuff and all that on the TV or whatever. Maybe that's what I'm going to do on Saturdays and Sundays. And maybe we can just leave the house a bit, go out, go walking outside or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I think that we're going to do. But I'm just so excited about the weight loss. I'm just so excited about, I have an appointment with my doctor in December where I'm going to do the full lipid panel. I'm going to check out my hormones. I'm going to do my blood test to see what the A1C business is, and just to see all that. I'm I'm really looking forward to seeing the look on my doctor's face when they see me. Cause what they're gonna be like, I saw you in January, right? I saw you in February, right? I want to see the look on their faces, and you know, especially if all my blood work comes back and everything is perfect, what they have to say about you know, this this new me or whatever. So anyway, I told you it was going to be highly informative. I want to hear from you. I'd like to know if you guys are on the same journey as I was, or I am. I'm pretty much still on the journey. But if you did the same thing, did you opt for Ozempic or Mounjaro or some other one of these class of drugs? I don't know. Did you opt for the surgery route? Because I know a lot of people who are considering doing that. I don't know. Are you experiencing the same things I experienced? Did you experience the hormonal issues like my friend is experiencing herself right now? Did you have the insulin resistance? I mean, I think I had even hypoinsulinemia or something, hyperinsulinemia. I can hardly pronounce it because of the symptoms that I have, the darkness in my neck, the skin tags, the different things that were showing up, you know, the hyper pigmentation with my neck and things like that. So I was having a buildup of insulin in my body that wasn't doing anything it was supposed to be doing with respect to the glucose. And that's why I was very close to being diabetic, which I never thought that could ever be me. So, you know, these mix of hormones and the way they interact in the body, I don't know what comes first. I don't know if it's the hormones that causes you to, it has to be anyway. I just told you guys about it. Okay, anyway, I told you it was going to be highly informative. Until my next video, don't forget to live, laugh, love. I love you, my Smooners, and I will circle back.